sex with women is more equal? Discuss. Are you a top, bottom, switch or something else? Freaky sex is easier with. Good afternoon, welcome to my channel. That was a good clap, wasn't it? It was a very, very solid clap. If you know my face, I'm Lauren. If you're new here, hello. This is 10 out of 10 for me because normally the bar is set very low. So today we are doing a big gay Q&A. Well, I was just gonna do a sexuality update, but then my friend Joel Wood did a big gay Q&A and I loved watching his because it was just so juicy. So I was like, you know what? Let's film some juice. I put out a question box on Instagram asking you for your juicy questions. This is gonna be some spilling of the tea today, I tell you. Would you consider yourself bisexual or pansexual? Before we answer this, let's go back in time. As I said, my name's Lauren, I'm 34 years old, and I realised that I was bisexual at a young age. I defined myself as bisexual when I was about 14. I remember coming out to my friends on MSN, being like, hello, I'm bisexual. And they were like, okay, what's that? And I was like, who knows? Yeah, no, I always knew that I found females attractive, I found males attractive. It was actually interesting. Last night I went to my friend's house and we watched Hook. Remember Hook? When we started watching it, I was like, oh, I used to fancy Rufio like so much, oh my God. And then as we were watching it, I don't know if you can remember Hook, but there was a bit where Peter Pan, Robin Williams, falls into the water and he gets rescued by mermaids and they kiss him and like give him oxygen. Oh my God. I remember like something sparked inside me and I was like, yeah, I fancy them as well. Hook is on Netflix, not sponsored if you want to go watch it. After watching Hook, it made me realise that I'd been bisexual for a long time. I considered it to only be a bedroom thing, and you know, so many of us are brought up hetero, and I always thought that I'd marry a man, have babies with a man. I didn't start dating women till I was 31. Bisexual used to mean that there are only two genders, but you date either two genders. But it's kind of transformed now to dating anyone. It's basically the same as pansexual, in my opinion. If I'm wrong, please comment below. So bi means two, pan means everyone. Pansexual focuses more on the person, whereas bisexual used to focus on the gender. Gender is not an issue for me. I would date anyone on the gender spectrum. The word that fits better for me is bisexual. For me, pansexual just sounds a bit too la-di-da. Another word I like to associate myself with is the word queer. I know that it used to be a massive homophobic slur, but you know, let's reclaim the queer. That just says that you are not straight and you don't need to feel like you need to put yourself in a box. What's your type? Why is online dating so hard? I don't have a type. I think if I think about the last few people I've dated, yeah, they're all very different from each other. For me, what's my type? My type is funny and likes bants, has a bit of something, because I like being taken the piss out of. I like insulting people and obviously in a fun, cute way. Humour, appreciation of food, kindness and time as well. In terms of looks, I like a good pair of lips. That's probably my thing, because I don't want to feel like I'm eating someone. It's not a great look for me. Why is online dating so hard? Online dating is so hard because I think people are scared of being themselves. Everybody seems to think that there's something better around the corner. Ghosting's a thing, which is so cruel and disgusting. I think it's down to insecurity on everyone's part, fear on everyone's part. You know, you name it, it's an issue. Yeah, I've enjoyed it in the past. I've done it a few times. Well, I've been on a lot of dates. Not recently, obviously, COVID. It's difficult. It's really difficult. You know, so when we're dating people, we should work out, hang on a minute, do I like this person? Rather than waiting for them to, you know, like show you affection and like you, do you like them or do you just want their attention because of insecurity, because of all these negative, false emotions that we have inside ourselves? You're welcome. Are there areas you avoid or are scared to visit because of your sexuality? I definitely would, if I was going abroad with a girlfriend, for instance, I would definitely check what their rules are, for instance, on gays. Yeah, it's a big thing I would think about. For instance, I would love to go to Morocco. You know, I'm a tactile person. I love to hold hands. I'm not like a massive PDA-er. I like attention. So if I had to like act like all the time, I just wouldn't feel comfortable. Therefore, I wouldn't want to go somewhere where I'd have to act that way and it would not ruin my holiday. Well, no, it might ruin my holiday. So I'd rather go somewhere else where I can feel like myself. This is me. How do you find flirting with both men and women? Do you flirt differently? I consider myself to be like a troll when I would try and flirt. I don't think I'm a very good flirt at all. I think I'm quite cringe. I think I'm quite awkward. Actually, you know, having said that, when I used to be a receptionist, I used to flirt with men all day long, and I did love it, actually. Yeah, I used to flirt with everyone. A couple of people in particular. Yeah, like obviously completely innocently. Most of them were married. But it was just a bit of fun. I remember once when I was leaving that receptionist job, the new girl who came to take over me, she was like, she was a bitch. She still is a bitch. She's still there. Anyway, she was like, I don't approve of the way you talk with the clients. And I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, you flirt with all of them. I'm like, no, I don't. I said, it's just friendly. I'm just being friendly. And I was like, you're overreacting, because she was. And then this guy came in that I actually didn't normally flirt with him. He was a bit weird. Anyway, he came in and he was wearing a new shirt and I noticed. And I said, oh, that's a nice new shirt. And he was like, bearing in mind, she was sat next to me. And he was like, thanks, you should come and see the rest at home. And I was like, they're not blue. And then, yeah, I think that, well, luckily I was leaving the job, so it was fine. This one was asked a lot. Biggest difference you found between dating men and women, aside from the obvious? In my experience, women are a lot more keen because we just are as humans. Yeah, in my experience, it's a lot easier to date women and actually feel like you're being appreciated rather than men. The men I've experienced are just not the same. To be honest, I haven't been on a date with a man. Actually, no, that's a lie. I went on one date with a man last year. I think it was the first date I went on after the breakup. Just to like, I don't even know why. He was cute, but there was zero there. He actually gave me quite a lot of good tips about working with the family business. I was like, this was why we met. I suppose one of the biggest differences for me is that with women, you just generally feel more equal. With women, it feels like more like a friend. Whereas with men, it's like, what is this creature? I don't know what's happening. Okay, let's get a bit more saucy. Do you feel more confident taking the lead with men or women? Firstly, it depends on the person. And what do you mean by take the lead? I would like to assume with the gender role, if I was dating a man, that the man would take the lead. Because I just like that. Whereas with a woman, I would probably take the lead. Yeah, I'd probably take the lead with a woman. It depends on the woman though. It depends. I wouldn't date a man that I felt more powerful than. Because I'm strong, I'm curvy. I wouldn't date a man that I feel like I could crush like a fly, because it's just not attractive to me. I want to feel like I could be crushed like a fly. If I was dating a woman, I would want somebody who it could be switched up. So either I could not take the lead or take the lead, if you get my lead. Freaky sex is easier with either. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. I mean, what? I've never done that. Ooh. Sex with women is more equal. Discuss. Yes, generally, yes, it is more equal. I have been quite lucky with the men I've dated over the years. I've dated a lot of men who, I have dated a lot of men, let's be real. I've dated a lot of men who aren't selfish in bed, pretty much know their way around, and if they didn't, I'd tell them exactly what they need to be doing. I have never dated someone who only saw his pleasure as valuable, or actually no, that's a lie. I remember dating one guy, he was terrible, but I was obsessed with him for years and probably still am a bit. And no, I'm not, that's a joke. If you're watching this, you know who I mean. Eleni. If I moaned one time, he'd be like, was that good for you? I'm like, what good for me? The one sound that I let out of my mouth? But generally with women, they will put the time in. They'll put the hours in. It's generally quicker with men. So I think that's the only difference, the speed. Also, women appreciate the struggles that women go through. Self-confidence, knowing what they want in life, in bed, whatever. And I think that women, there's just a general mutual understanding when it comes to sex. No question, my 22-year-old daughter is bi. Just wanted to send you a hug. Oh. Sending you both a hug. What's the worst thing about being in a relationship with a woman? Because you're the same gender, you generally, in my last relationship, for instance, I believed that we could work through so much because we had such an amazing connection at the beginning, and you know, we loved each other so much and blah blah blah, that we overlooked a lot of red flags. Or LBD. Look it up. LBD. Did you ever feel the need to grieve not being hetero in a homophobic world? I feel like I, as a human, an individual, come with a lot of privilege. My family, my background, the fact I'm white, the fact I have a job, you know, all these things. I have a lot of privilege. And yes, I may be bisexual, I may be on the LGBTQAI plus spectrum, but I wouldn't want to grieve for me. The only way I would want to grieve is for other people that suffer way more than me. You know, I live in London. I'm so lucky with my life, with my family, with my friends. I have suffered biphobia, bi-erasure. Bi-erasure is where people don't actually believe it's a thing, that bisexual men are just actually gay and not bisexual and they're just hiding it, and that bisexual girls are just greedy or just wanting a bit of everything, or actually straight but just wanting to use girls, whatever. I have experienced that bi-erasure / biphobia in a lot of my relationships. Either the guys won't accept it because of their own insecurities. I actually had a fight with an ex once, and he said to me, "Oh well, now you're with me, you're not bisexual anymore." I was like, and we had a massive fight in Zizzy on the South Bank, and I left him there. I went home. Bisexuals get a really bad rap for thinking because they're bisexual, because they like two genders or multiple genders or whatever it is, that they're going to cheat, that they're going to do these things that are terrible. That's not the case for everybody. If you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat. It doesn't matter about your sexuality. Simple as. I've had women say to me, "Oh, you know, well, you're always going to end up with a man. This is just a phase." Just a phase. Wow, that's a phrase, isn't it? It's so commonly used. Again, this all comes from it's nothing to do with me. It's always to do with the insecurities and misunderstandings and miseducation of the people, you know, that I was with, that I was talking to, whatever. But again, I come with a lot of privilege, and that's not for me to like downplay things that have happened to me and say, well, you know, some other people have it worse. Yes, they do, but obviously my struggles are still valid. I get that. If ever I had that said to me again, any of those things, I'd leave, because I didn't really realise what the implications of those words meant before, but now I'm a lot more wise to it. Are you a top, bottom, switch or something else? I think I'm a bit of both, because as I said before, it depends on the gender, it depends on the person, it depends on the vibe between the two people. It all depends on the way personalities match. When dating one gender, do you miss things about the opposite gender? Yes. Yes, I do. This is what I've been thinking about quite a lot recently, actually, like the possibility of actually trying polyamory and trying maybe an open relationship or something, because even though I'm not sure my jealousy and whatever could deal with it, but I do massively miss the other when I'm with one. And that's something I really I suppose I do. I suppose I do dislike that about myself, because I suppose we've all been brainwashed into thinking that monogamy is the rule. Monogamy is the goal. You know, I was listening to an audiobook the other day called The Ethical Slut, which is like, it's an amazing book. I've been recommended it so many times. They say that, you know, marriage only started happening to survive, to make homes that had, you know, a unit to survive hard times. And now that's the norm. Why am I talking like this? I don't know, but part of me would love to be married to one person and be happy with that and never have any other needs, but I just don't think that's me. And that's a weird thing to kind of come up against and realise, because yeah, it's, you know, it goes against everything I've kind of been taught and seen in my life. And so there's definitely parts of different genders that I miss. Is sex with females better because they know your body better? Yes and no. Everybody on this planet is completely different sexually and in every other way. So one method does not fit all by any means. Let's get real here. If I think about the last few people I've been intimate with, it's been a completely different set of rules for each one. And if you used the same set of rules on all three, you would know, it just would not work. But it's like anything, experience with both men and women, once you know different tips and tricks for different things, and also communication with the person you're sleeping with or whatever, oh, why am I being so serious in this video? Yeah, you would know things better, but equally, I've been with men that have known their way around equally well, so it depends on the person. Wow, that should just be like an inbuilt response to all these questions. It depends on the person, every single question. Do you think your mental health and weight has impacted your relationships? 100%. I remember my penultimate boyfriend, this was 6 years ago, we were dating. I was so obsessed with my food. I was so disordered. I was suffering in so many ways. Like, I'd go to his, and he he didn't really, I wouldn't say he didn't care. He didn't care. He didn't care about his food. He didn't exercise. He didn't whatever. He was just happy with being him, and that was him. I can see that now, but at the time I did kind of like blame him for being that way, and I didn't really see that at the time. So basically, I would travel down to see him, and we'd just have a good weekend, and we'd eat crap, and we'd enjoy each other's company. But then I'd come back home and I'd be like, I've put on weight, and I'd go mental every single time. And it was just so, like, when you're in a relationship, food's amazing all the time, but when you're in a relationship, you want to eat, you want to enjoy each other's company, you want to go out for food, you want to have takeaways, you want to snack, and you want to, we were only seeing each other a limited amount, and food is part of the enjoyment that we had. I knew him for a long time, 15 years or something. He didn't ever want to date me when I was bigger, but when I lost weight, all of a sudden he was like really interested, and I held that against him so much that I think that was one of the reasons why we broke up, because I couldn't accept that he wanted to date me before. I wanted to know that he would date me whatever size I was. He would always say he would, but then sometimes he would make jokes about, there was this fat girl once on the telly, and he like laughed at her, and I was like, confidence during sex with any gender, I have none. Please give me tips. The first tip I would give you is get to know yourself as an individual, of what you like, how you like to be touched. There's an app called We Are Furly. We Are Furly. It's like an audio guide for women to like get used to their own bodies and what they like and all these things. So get this, and I think when you're confident with what you like and how you like it, it's a lot easier to have confidence in that, and that leads to just general confidence. I think that communication with whoever you're sleeping with, or even with yourself, is so important. Wait a minute, let me just interject. Editing Lauren here. I'm just editing what you're currently watching, and I feel like there's something really important that needs to be added here. If you're finding what I'm saying alien or difficult or whatever, that's absolutely fine. Women for centuries, probably since the beginning of time, have been shamed for everything. We've been shamed for the clothes we wear, the kind of lives we lead, how much sex we have, how little sex we have, all of these things. That, the general shame that women have, that mixed with fatphobia and the way we view ourselves and our bodies, is a lethal combination. And that shames so many people into not putting their own pleasure, regardless of their partner, their own personal pleasure, on a pedestal, because that's where it should be. Also, this equally relates to the way we were brought up, the kind of sex education we have, the kind of views that our parents kind of like told us about sex, and all these things. Everything is combined. So feel free to challenge all of this. I know it's difficult. I follow so many amazing sex positive Instagram accounts, and honestly, they have helped me so much. I'll share some of them here. Ruby Rare is amazing. Yeah, I can't even think of them now because I'm in editing mode, but I'll share them here. And I just wanted to say that will take time. It will take time, but it will be so freaking worth it. Anyway, back to the show. To kind of be on the same page, for the respect, for everything, for just to be open and vulnerable is really, really important. Being with someone who finds you really sexy and tells you, and if you're in a relationship and that doesn't happen, or it's been a long time since, talk to them, communicate, say, I want you to tell me this, I want you to say this, and even if it's embarrassing, when you find out that somebody finds something attractive, it's so much sexier, in my opinion, because you're like, oh, well, I don't really care about what I look like, but as long as I can see the other person is appreciating this, it changes the whole dynamic. I would say maybe try like a few exercises of just like looking at yourself in the mirror and pointing out the things that you like about your body. Now, I know that might sound horrifying to so many of you, but it's so important because, you know, sex is so important. Body confidence, no, I hate that phrase, body acceptance. Yeah, just work out what works for you. Maybe new underwear always helps. Are you still a lesbian? I was never a lesbian. Have you gone back to men? No. Do you think it's okay to flirt with someone when you're in a relationship? I think that every single couple, when they first get together or whatever, needs to have a common understanding about what is cheating, firstly, because so many people can have different ideas about it. Someone can be like, oh, well, you know, it was only a kiss, we didn't sleep together. Someone else can be like, well, they sent a sexy sext. It's fine, we didn't meet or we didn't whatever. It's got to be a common goal because, you know, wires can get crossed, things can get, you know, misunderstood. In my opinion, anything you would not want to share with your partner, not have to share, like, because I don't feel like you need to tell your partner everything all the time, like, oh, this person hit on me today, or oh, this happened, or I was flirting with the delivery guy today, whatever. I think that anything you wouldn't want to tell your partner, if asked or if spoken about, is cheating. That's my own opinion. In terms of flirting, I think flirting's fine as long as it's innocent and you're not like flirting via messages. If it's like a little bit of workplace bants, like I was talking about earlier, that's fine. But again, that's my opinion. Somebody else might think, no, flirting is definitely no. But that's why communication is important. Getting on top, who's it better with? I mean, either. But I'm pretty lazy, so I've never experienced it. What are your thoughts on sex toys during sex? I think go for it, whatever you want. I think sex toys can really add to a relationship. There's a lot of, I think, stigma, especially with men, thinking that their stuff has to do the whole deed, and that is not the case, or that they would feel inadequate next to whatever sex toy there is. Sex is not about ego in the slightest, and if somebody likes a certain toy to get them off, then fine. If I was with somebody and they were like, you know what, I find it really difficult to, you know, orgasm like this, but I really like this, I'd be like, fantastic, great, you know, because that person knows what they like. They've, you know, somebody's talking outside my room. Be confident, know what you like. And I think, you know, sex toys give so much more options with sex. Sex can become boring if you're with the same person for a long time. Even solo sex can become boring if you do the same things all the time. And there are so many sex toys out there, so many things. This video should have been sponsored by like Love Honey or something, shouldn't it? I don't think there should be the stigma around there that there is. I think that's it. So that is it. Oh, thank you so much for watching. If you did make it through, comment I made it through down here. Let me know any thoughts, feelings, whatever. If you would like to buy me a coffee to show your support, my coffee link is below. But honestly, the fact you made it through is amazing. You'll see me soon. Sending all my love. Hope this wasn't TMI. Who cares? Anyway, love you lots. Bye. Ooh, hello, bye.